The moment I stepped into Martha's living room and saw her frail hand reach for mine, I knew my life was about to change forever. "James," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the beeping medical equipment, "promise me you'll take care of my Sarah when I'm gone." How could I say no to a dying woman's last wish? But I never imagined that promise would lead me to discover what family truly means. Hey everyone, if this story touches your heart the way it changed mine, please hit that like button and subscribe to follow more real-life journeys like this one. Your support means everything as I share these deeply personal moments with you. I met Sarah at a parent-teacher conference for my son Ethan. She was his third-grade teacher, bright, compassionate, and somehow able to connect with my withdrawn 8-year-old in ways I couldn't since his mother walked out on us 2 years earlier. When Sarah smiled at me across her desk that first day, something inside me stirred back to life. "Mr. Reynolds, Ethan is incredibly bright," she'd said, her eyes warm with genuine care. "He's just carrying so much hurt. I think we can help him together." Those words, "we can help him together," they were just about teaching then. I had no idea how prophetic they would become. Dating as a single dad isn't easy. Between work, Ethan's soccer practice, homework, and trying to be both mother and father, I barely had time to breathe, let alone date. But Sarah was patient. Our relationship grew slowly over coffee meetings disguised as discussions about Ethan's progress, then actual dinners while my neighbor Mrs. Chen watched Ethan. 6 months in, I knew I was falling in love. Ethan was 2, he'd light up whenever Sarah came over, showing her his science projects or the comic book he was drawing. For the first time since the divorce, our home felt warm again. Then came the call that changed everything. "James, it's my mom," Sarah's voice cracked over the phone. "The cancer's back. It's everywhere this time." Martha had been battling breast cancer for years, but had been in remission when I first met her 3 months into dating Sarah. She was a force of nature, opinionated, fiercely independent, and protective of her only daughter. She'd sized me up immediately, asking pointed questions about my failed marriage and my plans for the future. "My daughter deserves someone who stays," she'd said bluntly over dinner that first night. "Mom," Sarah had protested, embarrassed. "It's okay," I'd told her, then looked Martha in the eye. "I agree with you completely." Something shifted in Martha's expression then, a grudging respect, perhaps. Over time, she'd warmed to me, especially when she saw how Ethan responded to her daughter. Now, Martha was dying, and Sarah was falling apart trying to care for her while maintaining her teaching job. The hospice nurse came daily, but Martha needed more. "I'll check on her tomorrow," I promised Sarah over the phone. "You focus on your class. I can work remotely from her place." "Are you sure?" "What about Ethan?" "It's Saturday. He can come with me. He loves your mom." And he did. Despite her illness, Martha always had a special smile for my son, slipping him cookies when she thought I wasn't looking, telling him stories about Sarah's childhood that made him giggle. The next morning, Ethan and I arrived at Martha's small bungalow with groceries and my laptop. Sarah had left early for a weekend teacher development program she couldn't miss. "Grandma Martha." Ethan called as we entered, the name he'd given her months ago that always made her eyes mist. "There's my boy," she called weakly from her hospital bed in the living room. The hospice team had transformed the space to accommodate her needs, but it still felt like Martha, family photos everywhere, crocheted blankets, the smell of the lavender sachets she insisted on keeping in every drawer. While Ethan settled in with his Nintendo Switch beside her bed, telling her about his latest game achievements, I put away groceries and checked her medication schedule. Around noon, after making lunch for the 3 of us, I noticed Martha watching me intently as I helped Ethan cut his sandwich into triangles, the way Mom used to, as he always requested. "You're good with him," she said softly when Ethan went to wash his hands. "I try. Some days are harder than others. Sarah tells me he still has nightmares about his mother leaving." I nodded, the familiar ache returning. Less often now, but yes. The therapist says it's normal, that abandonment leaves deep scars. Martha's eyes grew distant. I know something about that. Sarah's father left when she was 6. Never looked back. This was new information. Sarah rarely spoke about her father. She had the same nightmares, Martha continued. Used to wake up crying, asking what she did wrong, why Daddy didn't love her enough to stay. My heart clenched. I didn't know. She doesn't talk about it. But it's why she connected with Ethan so quickly. She recognized that pain. Martha shifted, wincing slightly. It's also why she's terrified of this relationship, though she'd never admit it. Terrified? But we're doing well. I thought. She loves you, James. And that boy of yours? She'd move mountains for him. But she's waiting for the other shoe to drop. For you to decide it's too much, a ready-made family, a girlfriend with a dying mother, all the complications. I sat on the edge of her bed, processing her words. I'm not going anywhere, Martha. I believe you mean that. But Sarah's seen promises broken before. She reached for my hand, her skin paper-thin over blue veins. Which brings me to what I need to ask you. That's when she made her request, the one that would change everything. When I'm gone, Sarah will be alone in the world. No siblings, no father, no extended family to speak of. Just her. Martha's grip tightened with surprising strength. She'll push everyone away. It's what she does when she's hurting. Don't let her. I won't, I promised. No, you don't understand. Martha's eyes were intense, burning with the fierce love of a mother. I'm asking you to stay even when she tries to make you leave. Because she will. She'll convince herself she's protecting you and Ethan from her grief. She'll say terrible things, create distance. And if you let her succeed, she'll never trust love again. I swallowed hard. What are you asking me to do exactly? Move in here, after. This house is paid for. I'm leaving it to Sarah, but she won't want to live here alone with the memories. Bring Ethan. Make new memories. Don't take no for an answer. Martha, I can't just. Your lease is up next month. Sarah mentioned it. Your landlord is selling the building. She wasn't wrong. I'd been stressing about finding a new place in our school district that I could afford on my salary. This isn't about convenience, James. It's about family. The kind we choose, not just the kind we're born into. Her voice softened. I've watched you with my daughter. I've seen how you look at her when you think no one's watching. And I've seen Ethan bloom under her care. You three belong together. What if Sarah doesn't want this? Martha smiled weakly. She wants it more than anything. That's why she'll run from it. Later that afternoon, while Ethan was showing Martha his latest art project, I stepped onto the back porch to call Sarah. How is she? She asked immediately. Tired, but in good spirits. Ethan's keeping her entertained. Thank you for doing this. I know it's a lot to ask. Sarah, I hesitated, your mom and I had an interesting conversation. Oh no. What did she say? She doesn't have a filter anymore with the medication. She asked me to move in after she's gone. The silence stretched so long I thought we'd lost connection. Sarah? That's crazy, she finally said, her voice tight. You can't do that. I'll be a mess. And Ethan needs stability, not to watch me fall apart. Maybe Ethan and I could provide that stability for you. James, no. I appreciate what you're trying to do, but this isn't your burden. What if I don't see it as a burden? What if I see it as building a future? Another long pause. We need to talk about this in person. Not now. Okay, I agreed. But promise me you'll really consider it. I have to go, she said instead of answering. Kiss Mom for me. That night, after putting Ethan to sleep on the pull-out couch, I sat with Martha while she took her evening medications. She said no, didn't she? Martha asked. She said we'd talk about it later. Martha nodded knowingly. The pushing away has already started. Over the next 2 weeks, I split my time between work, caring for Ethan, and helping with Martha. Sarah seemed increasingly distant, working late, making excuses to avoid deep conversations. When we were together, I could feel her building walls between us, preparing for loss. Martha declined rapidly. The hospice nurse warned us it would be days, not weeks. Sarah took leave from school, and I arranged to work remotely indefinitely. One evening, while Sarah was showering, her only real break from caregiving, Martha called me to her bedside. In my nightstand, she whispered. Top drawer. There's a letter for Sarah. And one for you. I found the envelopes, each with our names written in Martha's elegant, if shaky, handwriting. Don't read yours until after, she instructed. And give Sarah hers only when she's ready. You'll know when. Martha passed peacefully 3 days later, holding her daughter's hand, with Ethan and me beside them. Sarah's grief was a tangible thing, filling the house with its weight. She moved through the funeral arrangements like a ghost, accepting condolences with vacant eyes. The night after the funeral, she finally broke. You should take Ethan home, she said, her voice hollow as we sat in Martha's, now her, kitchen. I need to be alone. No, I said simply. Her head snapped up. What? Your mother warned me you'd do this. Push me away. I promised her I wouldn't let you. You don't understand. I can't do this right now. I can't be what you and Ethan need. We don't need you to be anything but yourself, Sarah. Even if that self is grieving and broken for a while. Why would you sign up for this? She demanded, anger flaring through her grief. A depressed, orphaned woman with emotional baggage? Is this some kind of hero complex? I took her hand despite her attempt to pull away. Do you remember what you said to me at our first parent-teacher conference? About Ethan? She frowned, confused by the change in subject. You said, he's carrying so much hurt. I think we can help him together. That's what I'm saying to you now. You're carrying so much hurt. Let us help you carry it together. It's not the same. It's exactly the same. You became part of our family, Sarah. You helped heal my son's heart. Now let us help heal yours. She shook her head, tears streaming down her face. I'm scared, James. Everyone leaves. My dad chose to leave. Mom didn't want to, but she still left. What if? What if I leave too? I finished for her. I can't promise we'll never face challenges. But I can promise I will always choose to stay and work through them. That's what family does. We're not family. Not really. I reached into my pocket and pulled out the small velvet box I'd been carrying for weeks, waiting for the right moment, a moment I now realized might never come if I waited for perfect circumstances. We could be, I said quietly, opening the box to reveal the simple solitaire ring inside. If you want. Sarah stared at the ring, then at me, shock replacing some of the grief in her eyes. You can't be serious. Now? After everything? Especially now. Because I love you, Sarah. Not just when things are easy. I love you in the mess, in the grief, in the hard moments. And so does Ethan. As if summoned by his name, my son appeared in the doorway, rubbing sleep from his eyes. Dad? Miss Sarah? Are you okay? Sarah quickly wiped her tears, but Ethan was already crossing to her, climbing into her lap the way he used to do with his mother before she left. It's okay to cry, he told her solemnly. Dad says it helps the sad come out instead of staying stuck inside. Sarah's arms went around him automatically, and something in my chest tightened at the sight of them together. Your dad is pretty smart sometimes, she whispered. Are we going to live here now? Ethan asked, looking around the kitchen. Dad said we might. Sarah's eyes met mine over Ethan's head, questioning. Only if Sarah wants us to, I said carefully. Ethan turned to look up at her. I think you should say yes. Grandma Martha told me you need us, and we need you too. She said we're already a family, we just don't know it yet. Sarah's breath caught. When did she tell you that? The day before she went to heaven. She made me promise to take care of you and Dad. He said it so matter-of-factly, this 8-year-old boy with an old soul. So are you going to marry Dad? Because I think that would make Grandma Martha really happy. A laugh bubbled through Sarah's tears. You're as direct as she was. Is that a yes? I asked softly. Sarah looked from Ethan to me, then down at the ring still in its open box between us. Your lease is up next week. It is. And this house is too big for just me. It is. She took a deep breath. I'm still going to be sad for a long time. We know, Ethan said, patting her hand. Dad says that's okay. He was sad for a long time when Mom left. But he says I helped him be happy again. Maybe we can help you too. Sarah's eyes filled with fresh tears, but something had shifted in them. A tiny spark of hope where before there had been only emptiness. Okay, she whispered. Okay, you'll marry Dad? Ethan pressed. She laughed again, the sound rusty but real. Okay to all of it. Moving in. Marriage. Building a family. All of it. I slipped the ring onto her finger, then reached into my other pocket and pulled out Martha's letter. Your mom left this for you. She made me promise to give it to you when you were ready. I think that's now. With trembling fingers, Sarah opened the envelope and unfolded the letter inside. As she read, fresh tears fell, but her expression transformed from pain to something like peace. What does it say? Ethan asked. Sarah looked up at us, her new family, and read aloud. My dearest Sarah. If you're reading this, you've already made the decision I hoped you would. You've chosen love over fear, family over isolation. I'm so proud of you. James came into your life for a reason. So did Ethan. They're not replacements for what you've lost, they're additions to your heart, which has always had so much love to give. I'm not leaving you alone, my darling girl. I'm leaving you in the hands of the family you've chosen and who have chosen you right back. The house where you grew up will now be where your new family grows together. Fill it with laughter again. Make new memories in every room. Let Ethan run in the backyard where you once played. Let James hold you in the evenings on the porch swing. And when you miss me, because you will, and that's as it should be, remember that I'm still with you in every corner of this home we shared, in every lesson I taught you, and in every act of love you show to your new family. You asked me once, when you were very small, why some people leave and others stay. I didn't have a good answer then. But now I do, some people leave because they must, others because they choose to. The miracle is finding those who choose, again and again, to stay. James and Ethan have chosen to stay. Let them. All my love, always. Mom. That night, the three of us slept in the living room, Sarah and I on the pull-out couch, Ethan on a pile of blankets on the floor beside us. It wasn't conventional. It wasn't perfect. But it was the beginning of our family. In the months that followed, we slowly transformed Martha's house into our home. We married in a small ceremony in the backyard, under the maple tree Martha had planted when Sarah was born.